Good morning, you beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Today, I want to give you somewhat of a perspective here on World War II. You see, when World War II first came out, I didn't hide the fact that I absolutely loved the game and thoroughly enjoyed it, and I still do. And ever since it was released, the community has seemed to have had a vendetta against World War II, trying to find every little thing wrong with it and claim it's the worst Call of Duty in history. This doesn't make sense to me because World War II is basically exactly what the community asked for. And post-launch, all of the support that we've been getting for World War II, especially in the past couple months, has been exactly what the community has been asking for. We have a boots-on-the-ground Call of Duty set in World War II. Those two things alone were some YouTubers claimed that's all they wanted in a Call of Duty. I just want us to go back to World War II. I just want us to go back to boots on the ground. We've done that. World War II has real weapons now. The animations and the overall aesthetic of World War II was really authentic. However, after a little bit, the community got tired of that authenticity and called it boring and not fun. And this is kind of where Shamrock and Awe sort of changed that, starting things off with really vivid green camos and just wacky taunts and gestures. And we've seemingly crept even closer towards that unauthentic, cosmetic items. But again, that is what the community asked for. Perhaps the best example are the sprint out times and the health regen times and the division system. All three were really base fundamentals of the World War II experience, and in the past couple months, all have been changed for the better. It's all of those things, and of course there's a multitude of different tweaks and stuff that I didn't mention that really, in my opinion, makes World War II one of the most solid Call of Duties we've had, well, ever. And if I were to wager my money, I would say that the problems that we have with it currently, as of May, I think Sledgehammer is probably going to be implementing changes and alterations to alleviate these issues that we have. The newest main issue that everybody seems to love to latch onto is Master Prestige rewards, and in my opinion, that's such a small thing to complain about that it's almost a good thing that we have that to complain about, because that means the base game is really good. I mean, it must mean that, right? I'll go on a little mini rant for you guys right now. If you need a reward for playing the game, and the game isn't rewarding enough in and of itself, then maybe you don't actually like the game. I don't know. It's the whole reward me for playing your game is just weird. It's just weird. If the actual gameplay is not rewarding enough for you, why are you even playing the game? It just doesn't make sense. Speaking of in-game rewards, kill streaks have been a really touchy subject, at least for me and the community as well, because in my opinion, these kill streaks aren't necessarily bad. I love the concepts of these kill streaks, but sometimes they just don't do well, specifically like the artillery barrage and the mortar strike. Those are really the only two kind of mid-level killing kill streaks, and then you have to go all the way up to the firebombing run, and those cost so much that it's more difficult to get those. You don't get those as frequently as you get like the mortar strikes and that stuff. So some people have problems with kill streaks. I think with the Blitzkrieg perk that they've implemented with the Blitzkrieg event, they've done a really good job at buffing those. I think those buffs should really just come by default to every single kill streak, and I think the kill streaks would be absolutely perfect. But again, that option is there, and that's something that Sledgehammer has listened to and at least somewhat implemented. And the last thing is the maps. The maps are really subjective in my opinion. I am a fan of these maps. I think these maps strike a really good balance between simplistic 3-lane, but also complex enough to where intelligent play and tactical play is rewarded, especially in combination with boots on the ground. When I first played World War II, I really just fell in love with the fact that it was boots on the ground, and you could use your movement as a strategy, and you can cut somebody off, and you can outsmart somebody before you even start the gunfight. That's fantastic. I love that. And the maps are subjective. I love Point du Hoc. People hate Point du Hoc. I don't understand why. It's one of the best shotgun maps. It's one of the best maps for learning how to play close quarters. I mean, If you're good at close quarters, you're good at point to hawk. If you're not going to be good at point to hawk. You have to think about that. London Docks is good. St. Marie du Mont might be one of the best Call of Duty maps of all time. And I don't like using this argument, but the DLC maps, I understand you have to pay for them, but the DLC maps are absolutely fantastic. Valkyrie, again, might be one of the best Call of Duty maps ever created. I absolutely love Valkyrie. Anthropoid, really good big open map, really good flanking routes, really good LMG sniper sightlines. The remake of Resistance, fantastic. And all of the DLC 2 maps, with maybe one or two exceptions. Well, I guess that's some of them. I like Egypt. And Dunkirk can be fun, of course, as well. Really interesting engagements, but the DLC maps are generally more well received. But then again, you're always going to have the fight between the Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 simplistic 3-route maps and the more Call of Duty Ghosts, Modern Warfare 2-esque, more complex maps. So really, in my opinion, that doesn't really have a lot of weight to it. And then we can just talk about War, because War is a fantastic game mode, and it may seem repetitive, but the meta changes really frequently with different tactics and different just stuff about it that it makes it so much different and so unique every single game. Not to mention that World War II doesn't have anything stupid like specialists or really overpowered support kill streaks. I know we'll talk about requisitions, because I think that's going to be something that Sledgehammer changes as well. Maybe, I don't know, it's definitely on the plate in my opinion, even though I don't think it's overpowered, but that's just me. Sledgehammer has just done a great job at really finding a good balance between the two tent poles of Call of Duty developers, between the simple arcade-style Treyarch maps and games, for that matter, and the Infinity Ward more strategic kind of tactical games, if you could say that. It's really good. World War II is a great mix of the two. And most of the things that Sledgehammer has implemented has been due to the community's feedback. World War II is what the community asked for. To this day, the updates are what the community asks for. Unfortunately, it is a multiplayer game, and for that matter, because of that, I won't be talking about World War II in the coming years. This is just temporary, this is just like Ghosts. I can talk about Ghosts, but it's not going to be as relevant. So really, whenever we talk about a Call of Duty multiplayer, it's just for the moment. And it's a shame that in this moment, the community doesn't appreciate World War II as much as, well, I think it deserves. So this is my video. This is my moment that I'm giving to World War II. I incredibly appreciate all the things that Sledgehammer has done and is continuing to do with World War II. It has its issues, of course. It's not a perfect game. I still hate it sometimes, but it has done a lot right, a lot of important things right, and they deserve credit for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think of World War II, and do you think it's everything the community asked for? So thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next absolutely beautiful Call of Duty morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.
The breach is ours. Now our forces can advance.